Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Seun Ajala. In this particular tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you on how to draft a short pant if it's something you're interested in upping, and let's start. So the first thing I'm going to do is to come to the upper part of my sketching paper and I'm going to draw out a straight line. And this particular straight line is going to serve as my waistline. And I'm going to mark an indication writing waistline. So the second thing I'm going to do is to come down by 12 inches and it's going to serve as my crouch measurement. So I'm going to mark out 12 inches as my crouch measurement. How do I get 12 inches as my crouch measurement? Is by sitting down on a stool and measuring from my waistline down to the upper part of the stool. That's how you get your own crouch measurement. So now we've marked out our waistline, we've marked out our crouch line. So the next thing I want to do is to mark out the length of my short pants. So for the length of my short pants, I'm going to mark it as 16 inches. So the length is going to be 16 inches and I'm going to draw out a straight line. So now we are at the third part of this sketching. So we draw the waistline first. The second thing is our crouch measurement. The third thing is our length measurement. So we are at the third part like this. So now we are going to the fourth part. So the next thing is to place my hip measurement on the crouch line. So my hip measurement is 10. I'm going to be placing it on the crouch line. So guys, I'm going to connect my waistline down to where I marked out my hip measurement. I'm going to mark out a straight line, connecting it. So the next thing I want to do is to divide my hip measurements that I placed on the crouch line. I'm going to divide it into 4. So after dividing it into 4, I'm going to come up by 2.5 inches from my crouch line. And I'm going to mark out a straight line. And we are going to be calling it our hip line. So I'm just going to mark out H. So after marking out my hip line, the next thing I want to do is to extend by 2.5 inches. That same 2.5 inches, I'm going to extend it from my crouch line. So after extending it from the crouch line, I'm just going to mark out a curve connecting it. So I'm going to connect it from the hip line down to where I marked out my crouch extension. Then the next thing I want to do is to come to the waistline and just place in my waist measurement. So I'm going to be placing in my waist measurement and I'm also going to mark out 1 inches for my dart. So my dart is going to be in form of a pleat. I'm going to be showing you guys in my next video. So the next thing, after placing in my waist measurement and adding extra 1 inches allowance for my dart, I'm going to connect from the waistline down to the hip line. I'm going to make a slant, not a straight line. I'm going to make a slant. You can see the way I just slanted it using my ruler. So the next thing I want to do is to come down by 1.5 inches and it's going to serve as my band line. So now I'm just going to mark out my band line from my waistline after coming down by 1.5 inches. So now I'm just going to label it band. So the next thing I want to do is to divide my band line into 2. So why am I dividing it into 2? Is to get my dart. So I'm just going to place it at the middle part after dividing my band line into 2. I'm just going to mark out a point at the middle part. So the next thing I want to do is to come down by 3 inches for my dart. So I'm just going to mark out a straight line. So this dart is going to serve as a pleat actually. So after coming down by 3 inches for my dart, I'm going to come to the middle part and just come in by half an inch for both sides of the straight line. And I'm going to connect it. After getting in my dart, I'm just going to come down by 2 inches from my crouch measurement, and I'm going to label it my tie line. So now the next thing is to get your tie line. Then after that, after marking out a straight line to get your tie line, you are going to divide your one tie into two. So whatever you have, you are going to place it on your tie line. Then the next thing is to mark out a slant from my crouch extension down to the length. So guys, that is all for the front pattern. I'm just going to cut it out now. So guys, this particular back pattern is different. So I'm just going to do it step by step. The first thing I want to do is to come in by 2.5 inches from the front crouch extension, and I'm going to come down by 1 inches from that new extension that I marked at the back, because the back pattern is always different. And from the waistline that I connected to the crouch line, I'm going to come up from that curve. I'm going to come up by 1.5 inches, and I'm going to mark it out. So guys, the next thing I want to do is from my front pattern, I'm going to come up by 1.5 inches. And the next thing I want to do is to connect the points together using my marker. You can see the way I just connected it together. Then the next thing I did was to place back the front pattern. And the next thing I'm going to do here is just to, from that 1.5 inches that I marked up, I'm going to put in my waistline and my darts together, and I'm going to be slanting it down. You can see that the back waistline is more extended than the front waistline. So don't make that mistake. So the next thing I'm going to do is just to connect from the waistline down to the hip line, and I'm just going to use my ruler to just connect them with the front pattern. And that is all for this particular tutorial. If you have any questions or you're not understanding some parts, kindly comment and I'm going to answer to your comment. Thanks for watching, guys. That is all for this tutorial, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye guys.